We are gathered here to fill you with fear and give you a treat for your ears as we invade your mind with our scary rhymes and some tales that can be gory. As you bear witness and sit here and listen to our poetic horror stories.
I was so stressed from work, I decided to take a walk deep in the woods late one day. That's where I found her body, a lady in the lake. She was just floating there, with leaves and twigs tangled in her hair. She was cold to the touch, which made my heart skip a beat and my adrenaline started to rush. She had no clothes on. She was completely nude. I just stood there, scared, wondering what I should do. I know I need to find help, but my legs won't let me move. Because I was captivated by how peaceful she looked, just lying there. She looked like a kind of a mannequin. She didn't look real. There was something about her eyes, all lifeless and cloudy, just staring up into space, and how the lake water surrounded her face, encapsulated it, just like a picture frame. It was so calming and serene, looking at the bugs crawling in and out of her parted blue lips. I was hypnotized, completely mesmerized, I have to admit it. I started to wonder what it would be like to be dead, to be cold and stiff, not to be able to take a breath. I know this sounds morbid. I guess I have a fascination, better yet a curiosity with death I didn't foresee. It awakened an interest deep inside of me. I think I'll keep her a secret, just for a while. I want to keep her to myself. I will eventually call the authorities for help. But for now, watching her is the only thing that relieves my stress. I keep hearing voices late at night screaming from my well. The voices sounded like they are coming straight from the pits of hell. I know there's something at the bottom of the well, and the darkness is where it dwells. I started to hear the voices about a week ago. And now, at that time, the voices were faint and very low. Now the voices are rising up out of the well, coming closer to the top. They're getting louder and the voices won't stop. I can hear them moving closer as they roam up the road. I hear them moving towards my home. Now they are at my front door. The voices are howling, moaning, sounding like a choir in a horrible song. They keep going on and on. I can't take it anymore. I think to myself, why me? I start to hyperventilate, and I can't breathe. Now I hear them moving down my hall. I can hear their terrifying screeches coming through the walls. Then it stopped at my bedroom door. I covered my head with my sheet. I'm shaking from my head down to my toes. I yell out, "What do you want? Please leave me alone. Just go away." But the voices started to curse me to my dismay. Now it's here in my room, standing next to my bed. My ears start to bleed. The voices reverberate in my head. I scream out, "I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't have left you there. Please forgive me. I was wrong to throw you in the well. But what can I do now? You are all dead. I know you are my tenants that used to live here in my home. Martin, John, Brian, Steve, and Jerome. I shouldn't have killed you to steal your pension check. I know this was wrong. I admit it. Now go away and leave me alone." Suddenly, the voices went silent. Then I pulled my sheet down to take a peek. I was praying that it was over and that they would leave. But what I saw was a grotesque, mixed-up thing mashed together body parts. And in the chest area was a gaping hole with no beating heart. Suddenly, without warning, they roared out, "No!" The voice simultaneously spoke, and what they said left a lump in my throat.
"We came back for you and want our revenge. We're going to limb from limb. Nice and slow.
I need some help. I entered into a blood pact with a witch covenant, and I don't know how to remove myself. I was on the dark web searching for a special website. I was advised to go by a friend, and it would show up exactly at midnight. To access the site, I would have to answer just one question. They needed to know my true intentions. The question they asked, would I be willing to make an oath, a blood pact? You will be consenting to a witch's covenant. With us, you will be entering a dark contract. If you are open and you want to take part in our covenant, to a true awakening, then you are who we are looking for. No mistaking. Then, with your third eye, you will see the words appear to you that you need to repeat. Suddenly, words appeared in front of me, and I started to read. To the covenant, I give my body, blood and soul, to give my own, and to forsake all others that are not a part of our circle. I have to prick my finger, and with one drop of my blood, the contract is sealed. This completed our deal. I know now this was stupid, but my friend made it sound so cool. But she played me for a fool. She knew I wanted to belong to a group. My ignorance didn't mean anything to them. I made the blood pact. I was trapped. And this is my dilemma. I can't take it back. But the crazy thing is, it's all a pyramid scheme. My friend needed to recruit others into the circle almost every week. And only the top witches get perks and the cool new spells, potions, and books, while us low-level witches do all the hard work. Once a year, they would have their witches' conference in Hawaii. They look down their noses at us. They act all high and mighty. They tell us this is what we should be striving for. If you do what you are told, you can be just like us, but you have to meet your goals. This is truly hell. All I wanted to do was cast some spells. This is just a friendly reminder to please like and comment to let us know how we are doing so far. We would love to hear from you all. And if you're new, please subscribe and become a part of the PHS crew. And we thank you. Human beings believe we are the apex predator on Earth, but we found out we aren't. I'm an investigative news reporter, and I was assigned to this world-breaking news story. We finally made contact with an alien life form. Now we know for sure we are not alone. It was amazing, and just straight up crazy. The aliens stated they come in peace, and with our leaders, they want to meet. They wanted to come here to help us to evaluate life on Earth, to show us how we can come together and make life easier, to make it work. Our leaders around the world made agreements to accept the aliens' help and aid, to also learn all about them, their technology, and for our worlds to trade. And for 25 years, we lived in peace and harmony across the world. We built a whole new society. We had no more concerns. We had no more wars. Everyone had jobs. There's health care for all. No more poverty, nor poor. No more violence plagued our streets. In fact, we were able to get rid of the government and the police. The whole world now lived under a unified, diverse community of leaders called the Universal Federation Organization. UFO, for short, of course. And there were alien leaders also on the board. We were all living a good life. Everything just felt right. But this facade started to unravel as people started to come up missing. A small pocket of people started to become suspicious. So I thought I should investigate, to check out the rumors to see if they carried any weight. All of our lives could possibly be at stake. I used my years of experience as an investigating reporter to help me get into the Universal Federation organization, the UFO, to see what I can find out, and if anything fishy is going on. I was pleasantly surprised to be welcomed with open arms. The alien leaders even gave me a tour. I didn't find anything. I had no reason to be alarmed. Everything seemed to be normal. It seemed to be okay. I was satisfied with nothing to report here. So, I thought, until I came across a room with big metal doors that went up from the top of the ceiling right down to the floor. I stopped to ask what was in there. I could smell something good cooking. The aroma fills the air. The alien stared at me, and he asked me, "Do you really want to see?" He said, "Okay. I hope you are ready." When he opened the doors, I was floored. Human beings were hanging from hooks like pieces of meat. He told me, "Let's have a conversation. Please take a seat." He sat across the table from me, and he started to explain. He told me when they arrived here on our planet and met with our leaders, they agreed that it would be okay for them to feed. He advised me that they lived here on Earth about 1 million years ago. They left Earth because it was badly damaged due to nuclear war. We weren't at the Earth to heal, but due to the evolution of human beings, their planet we took over, and to us, they yield. So they let us be, but now they needed their planet back. They didn't want to come back and start another war. They didn't want to attack. But there wasn't enough room on this small planet for us to coexist. They needed to come up with a plan to save them real quick. So our leaders and the aliens came up with a plan they could live with. This way, we can move our people back to Earth without overpopulating the planet. Anyway, we were here first. I yelled out, "No more!" I demanded. "This is truly unbelievable. This can't be real. I can't listen to it anymore. It's too much and it's making me ill." "So, we're food to you?" The alien didn't say a word. He just stared at me as he stood. He said to me, "You don't understand. They are food to you." This is how we ended overpopulation and world hunger. You are like any other animal on this planet. You are a tradable commodity and your meat is quite a delicacy. Now you know the truth. I know this is hard to believe. And now, it's noon. It's lunchtime. It's time to eat. You shouldn't ever try to bring back the dead. It's against nature's laws. It is not recommended. If you don't listen and break the law, then prepare yourself for the consequences you will pay. Because Mother Nature and the universe don't play. It's okay to mourn for the dead, but let them stay where they lay. Let them move on. Let them be on their way. But if you choose not to let them go, then you will take their place. Our world is based on the universal law of balance, no matter how things end good or tragic. So if you feel a need to play God, you need to remember this. The universal laws are not to be messed with. The true definition of madness is a state of frenzied and chaotic activity. It's a state of mind I now find myself to be. All I can think about is mayhem, violence, damage, and chaos. I have an urge to inflict my rage onto everyone. You won't want to cross my path, because if you do, you will suffer my wrath. All I can see is the color red, with all these disturbing visions in my head. I fall to my knees and I try to pray it away. I pray to God to make it okay. But it seems he's not listening to me, because praying doesn't set my mind at ease. I can't even close my eyes to sleep, just so I can have a moment of peace. I try to work and create something with my hands, because idle hands are the devil's playground, but it's not enough. I need to destroy. I just feel so freaking mad. So I began to break everything I get my hands on, till my anger now subsides, until it's all gone. Now the madness has retrieved, dormant deep inside of me. But it will be back one day, because it's an aggressive disease. I want to be a god, to have power over my enemies, to strike them down if they don't obey me, for them all to fall upon their knees, for my enemies to be in awe of my awesomeness, to quiver and shake to beg me for forgiveness, please. But I won't, because they don't deserve my love and understanding. I won't give them any chances. And why should I? They didn't do it for me, so why should I give them a reprieve? I know this might sound cruel, but an eye for an eye. Isn't that not the rule? You can look at me as a fiend, if that is what you want to believe. Yes, you can say I would be a petty god, and it may seem as if I have no heart. If you are not my enemy, you would have nothing to fear. You wouldn't have a reason to be scared. As long as you do good work, and you don't cause pain, chaos, and hurt, then I will not be a problem to you. But for my enemies, they would be screwed. I'm lost in between dimensions and time. I'm a traveler, and I seem to have lost my way home. I can no longer follow the signs. It's been many moons since I last saw a familiar face, a world that I know to be my own, a recognizable time and place. I was a young lad when I discovered time travel. I have always yearned to explore faraway marvels. Now the time has come for me to settle down, a time for me to be homebound. But I only have myself to blame for my nomadic wandering, of places you see in your dreams, from heavenly, ethereal, colorful paradise, to oppressive, dark, desolate hellscapes, such vast extremes. But I've seen enough bizarre and exotic locations to fill 1 billion lifetimes. Now I no longer ache to roam. I want to find the pathway home, to have peace of mind. But at last I feel like I'm doomed to continue, to wander through time and space, to never see my home again, to never see my family and friends. I have lost base. Just a lost traveler to time. How I wish I could rewind, and to find the world where I belong, because like they say, there's no place like home. A man showed up as we closed. He wanted a sandwich, but I was ready to go. He asked me, "Please let me in." I told him, "No, we're closed. That's not happening." I could see through the window he was mad. I didn't care. I started to laugh. He said, "If you don't let me in, then you'll regret it. So let me in, or I'll take your store apart brick by brick." You can believe it. I stood my ground and said, "No, you need to leave or I'm going to call the police." He said, "That was the wrong move, and now your sandwich shop, you will lose." Suddenly, the paint started to crack on my shop walls. The condiments and soda started to shake and fall. I could feel the shop starting to move off its foundation. Everything is now violently shaking. Suddenly, all the activity came to a stop. Then, it went completely silent. I could hear a pin drop. And then I saw him out of the shop window as he took in a really deep breath. and he let it out with all of his might and strength, blowing out the store windows and door. They were gone. They were no more. He stepped in the shop and said, "I asked you nicely to open the door, but you told me no. That's bad customer service. So rude. You are fortunate today. All I want to eat is food." Something black and inky was washed up from the sea, landing in the sand on the beach. It looked like an oily jellyfish covered in goo, or something you see on a tissue. It's all I can compare it to. When I found it lying there, I thought it was dead. But it wasn't. It was just plain pretend. I walked up to it and poked it with a stick. Suddenly, a strange fishy, smelly liquid shot out that stink. It splashed, covering me with a slimy texture that was rank. My eyes started to burn. I could feel my skin heating up and getting hotter. My skin started to blister and bubble. It felt like I was on fire. But that was the beginning of my troubles. Suddenly my skin started to fall off. I started to melt into a puddle. All I could think, I'm turning into this mucus, oily jellyfish thing. Is it possible that it was once a human being? Now here we are, 2 blobs lying on the beach, waiting for the next human being that is filled with curiosity.